Welcome everyone to the Moisky News for July the 29th, 2021. Anne Widdecombe is a free speech warrior, and this is not a joke, I promise. Many of you may not know who she is, but if you're British, chances are you've heard of her, either because she was a Conservative MP for quite a long time, or because she was the Brexit Party MEP for about a month, or if you watch British television for appearances on Have I Got News For You. The first of two appearances was quite amusing, the second a train wreck, and or because of her appearance on Strictly Come Dancing. Iconic performances, of course. Anne Widdecombe over the years has said some things that are quite spicy, and with these incredibly spicy things, many would argue that she is only saying now that she's a free speech warrior, so as to negate accountability for the twice aforementioned spicy things. And there could well be a point to that. Allow me to give you a couple of examples of spicy things she said, or things she said others have determined to be spicy because they've immediately jumped to the wrong conclusion. For example, Anne Widdecombe compared Brexit to slaves turning on their owners. Many people jumped on this as a white woman talking about the black experience, forgetting that Europe itself has gone through its own slavery issues. Have you ever heard of the Barbary slave trade? And as slavery is still ongoing in the world today, it's not exclusive to one race. You'd be hard-pressed to find one. What Anne had actually said was, the UK's departure from the EU reflects a pattern of oppressed people turning on their oppressors throughout history. We are leaving and we are pleased to be going, we are off, with two phrases, foreign, don't care. It was her first speech, and the first speech in the new EU Parliament. One hell of a way of saying hi. She also waved a British flag, which got her into little trouble. Not that Anne Widdecombe cared in the slightest. Is this spicy? Not really. But people thought it was because she compared the EU to slavery. While throughout her political career she did in fact partially support gay rights, she has constantly opposed equal age of consent same-sex marriage while supporting LGBT+ conversion therapy. And when a female boxer was going to dance with a female pro on Strictly Come Dancing, Anne believed that families would not want to watch this, saying, I don't think it's what viewers of Strictly, especially families, are looking for. But that's up to the audience and the program. Is this spicy? Not really. But people then immediately jump on her being homophobic. When she was on a YouTube podcast, The Lewis Nichols Show, and questioned about claims of homophobia, she believed that it's not a left or right issue, it's actually just melodrama, and that the media always want that. They want headlines, they want gotcha moments, they want car crash interviews. That's what they want, and that's what they go for. To prove the point, a tabloid did in fact take a quote out of context and insert some inverted commas in the wrong place, which could imply she did or did not say it depending on how one read the sentence. Yes, Integrity 101. Journalists do not have it. When accosted during the 2019 campaigning, she did in fact correct somebody, but of course this was never reported on. And just to show how much she's willing to argue with people, during a debate on grammar, because she's a bit of a grammar Nazi, she actually got into an argument with a TV presenter over an apostrophe, which she believes needs to be abolished. She's a bit set in her ways, I think. And also the word can't, shan't, don't, won't, and so on are not words she's overly keen on. The reason I mention any of this, and by the way there's a lot more, but I've gone with the easiest, is because Anne Widdecombe was trending, and the reason why is because of the title of the video. Now that Brexit is essentially over minus a few issues concerning certain protocols, Anne Widdecombe has been asked on Nigel Farage's Talking Pints show, which is aptly named after him, on GB News, where he asked her what was next for her. Now I'm not entirely sure if I can play the clip, because I'm unsure if GB News will claim it, but we'll try it anyway.
But you're still out there fighting and campaigning, aren't you? Just tell us what your latest campaign is.
Free speech. I am appalled now at it's been going on for some years, but it's been really crescendoed in the last 2 or 3 years, at the way people are cancelled, have their livelihoods undermined, when they say something that displeases this actually quite small minority of people called the wokerati. But for some reason, all the institutions bow down.
Firstly, I've never heard of the wokerati. That's a new one for me. The arguments she has mentioned, interestingly, are arguments many of us made in 2015 and earlier. So yes, perhaps a decade late to the party. The culture war is already over. We lost, all right. The vocal minority somehow managed to get by and be promoted because all the major establishments supported this. Because money, sensationalism, and also, if you are capable of cancelling someone, you can make that into quite a lucrative cancellation. It's interesting that the Champagne socialists all claim, giving out the wealth evenly, but when it comes to themselves, it's very much, I'm going to take the ladder out so you guys can't catch up with me. Understandably, the vast majority of responses to that video, when they realised Anne Widdecombe was trending, was insert everything she's ever done in the past to say, but she can't be this now, and she's only doing it so she's not held accountable. There should never be a legal consequence, ever, for saying something that another disagrees with, and I include any and all forms of hate speech. Never. It should never be a thing. Anne is right. Yet people have sought to legislate what one can and cannot say. Do we in the United Kingdom have free speech? No. Does it need to be enshrined in law to protect us? Yes. Could Anne affect that? No. Why? Because, as she herself has admitted, Boris Johnson is weak. Most of the politicians are weak. They don't have the backbone to push with something like this. Annoyingly, one of the few that does have the backbone for it is reluctant to lead in the first place. Add to that he currently serves as the leader of the House of Commons and Lord President of the Council. Essentially, he has been put to one side. He doesn't have to do anything, which suits him nicely. And also, I don't think anyone wants politics to go back to the 1800s. With what Anne Widdecombe has said, I do want to know what you think. And yes, she has said some spicy things before, but Anne, as a character, is a very funny one. Because she said some things before, and I honestly don't think she cares. She stands by it, has the conviction, and while late to the party, bringing something like this up again and making free speech a fundamental right is important.